Hey everybody, so this week I finished the Bookentine challenge and I wanted to do a quick wrap up. I read 6 books this week and finished all 5 challenges. The books that I read were all set at least partially in America. Quite a few of the books that I read dealt with mental illness or had LGBTQ characters, and I read 2 debut novels. The book that was on my TBR the longest was Will Grayson, and I finished it with 24 minutes to spare. So with that, let's get into some of my reviews and thoughts. The first book that I read was Where'd You Go, Bernadette? I gave that a 3.75 or 4 stars out of 5. I will have a whole review coming up on that. I've already recorded it, so look out later this week for that if you're interested. The next book that I read was Silver Linings Playbook, and I gave that a 3.5 stars. I really enjoyed this book and the way we saw everybody's reaction to Pat through Pat's perspective and through his scope of mental illness. That being said, I did get a Manic Pixie Dream Girl vibe from Tiffany, and that really kind of bugged me. Also, some of the language that's used really bothered me, like the way that Pat always refers to it as a part-time. It's a little thing, but it really got under my skin. The next book that I read was Boy Meets Boy. This was David Levithan's debut novel, and as you might guess by the title, it had LGBTQ characters. I thought this book was a little bit too saccharine for me, but I really appreciated the way that they dealt with the interpersonal relationships and the issues in the book, and I gave it a 3 out of 5. The next book that I read was I Was Here by Gail Forman. It's her new book. It came out last month. This book deals with teen suicide, and I'm about to film a review on it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was really, really well done, and I would definitely recommend it. The next book that I read was The Language of Flowers. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. I think the story was great, and I think a lot of people would really enjoy this book, but personally I found myself incredibly frustrated with Victoria and had to keep reminding myself that she is 18 years old and has some mental health issues. She's very antisocial and has a very hard time trusting people because she grew up in the foster care system and spent most of her time in group homes or being bounced from foster home to foster home. That being said, I just found myself incredibly frustrated with her for most of the book, and I found the book to drag around 60% of the way through it. It was just really, really dragging for me, and I didn't want to finish the book. Like, I just didn't care about the characters, which was really frustrating for me. But I think a lot of people would like the story, so I think I would still recommend it. Maybe it just wasn't a good follow-up to I Was Here. And the last book that I finished, like I said earlier, was Will Grayson. I enjoy what I've read of both John Green and David Levithan's work, so I'm not surprised that I enjoyed this book, but I am surprised that it took me so long to actually sit down and read it. I really liked how distinct the 2 Will Graysons were, but really, I just loved Tiny Cooper. I gave this book a 4 out of 5, and I would definitely recommend it. So that's what I read this week. I think my favorite was I Was Here, but I also really, really enjoyed Will Grayson. If you participated in this challenge, let me know what your favorite read was in the comments below. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button so you know when I make new videos. And until next time, hey everybody, so this week I'm doing the Bookentine readathon.